before the sun rises and the world fully awakens. There is a sacred opportunity, a moment designed for stillness, for surrender, a quiet breath before the demands of the day begin. And in this moment, God is already waiting, not to judge you, not to pressure you, but to welcome you, to hold what your heart can't carry anymore. You've been trying, haven't you? Trying to hold it all together, trying to be strong, trying not to fall apart even when everything inside you feels like it's unraveling. The worries that keep you up at night, the unanswered prayers, the silent battles no one else sees, God sees them. He sees you, and He's not asking you to solve everything. He's not expecting you to perform for His approval. He's inviting you to let go, to place it all in His hands. Not just the big fears, but the small, constant anxieties that nibble away at your peace. That decision you're afraid to make. That relationship that feels like it's slipping through your fingers. That financial pressure that wakes you before your alarm. He knows, He cares, and He wants you to stop carrying it alone. Sometimes we mistake worry for responsibility. We think if we worry enough, plan enough, prepare enough, we can somehow prevent the pain. But that's not faith. That's fear disguised as control. God isn't calling you to live burdened. He's calling you to trust. And trust begins where control ends. So breathe. Right here, right now. Breathe and release. Let your heart exhale the tension you've been holding for far too long. Let go of the fear that whispers, "What if?" and lean into the still, steady voice that says, "I am with you." God's peace isn't the absence of problems, it's His presence in the middle of them. It's a peace that doesn't always make sense to the world, but makes perfect sense to your soul, because it isn't based on what's happening around you. It's anchored in who is holding you. There's a difference between knowing about God's peace and experiencing it, and it starts with surrender. True surrender. Not halfway, not on certain days, but full, daily surrender. And that's hard. It means admitting that you can't do this alone. It means stepping out of the driver's seat and saying, "Lord, I trust you more than I trust myself." What if you started your day not with your to-do list, but with your open hands? What if instead of rehearsing your problems, you released them? What if, before you checked the news or the emails or the bank account, you checked your heart and gave it all to God? Imagine the freedom of that. Waking up knowing you don't have to figure everything out. Walking through your day with the quiet confidence that the God of the universe is walking with you, that He is already in your future, that nothing surprises Him, that nothing is too big for Him. This is your invitation to live lighter, not because the storms will stop, but because you've anchored yourself in the one who calms them. Worry may come knocking, but you don't have to open the door. You can answer with prayer instead, with faith instead, with a declaration that your peace isn't negotiable, it's rooted in God. So today, as you face decisions, conversations, challenges, remember this: you are not alone, and you don't have to carry the weight of this life on your own shoulders. You have a God who fights for you, who holds your tears, who strengthens your heart, who surrounds you with grace. And if your thoughts wander back to the what-ifs, gently remind yourself, I don't need all the answers. I just need to stay close to the one who does. That's peace, that's power, that's God's promise. And if this prayer has stirred something in your soul, let it stay with you. Carry it into your next breath, your next step, your next quiet moment. And when worry rises again, as it often does, return here, to stillness, to surrender. To the sacred place where God meets you, not in your perfection, but in your need. Let this be the start of a new rhythm in your life. One not shaped by fear, but by faith. One not ruled by anxiety, but anchored in assurance. And if your heart needed this reminder today, maybe someone else does too. Share it. Speak it. Let your peace become a light for others still walking through the dark. There's something sacred about choosing peace when everything around you invites panic. It's not weakness, it's strength. A quiet, unwavering strength that comes not from within, but from above. Because the truth is, life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The world keeps spinning. The responsibilities don't pause. The noise doesn't stop. But in the middle of it all, you are invited to pause, to realign, to root yourself not in the chaos of the world, but in the calm of Christ. Peace doesn't mean you're in denial about what's hard. It means you've decided to believe that even the hardest things are not outside of God's care. He is still sovereign when the diagnosis comes. He is still close when the relationship breaks. He is still your provider when the numbers don't add up. He is still your defender when you feel misunderstood. And he is still your peace even when everything else falls apart. Sometimes we think peace will come when everything is fixed. But God offers peace while things are still broken, while you're still waiting, while you're still healing, while you're still figuring it out. Because peace isn't a result. It's a relationship. It's the deep awareness that even if the storm doesn't stop, God is in the boat with you. That's why you can stop striving. You can stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios in your mind. You can stop exhausting yourself trying to predict the future. You were never created to carry that burden. You were created to depend. And yes, dependence feels counterintuitive in a world that praises self-reliance. But in the kingdom of God, surrender is strength, trust is power, and rest is warfare. You may have learned to equate peace with passivity, but letting go of control is not giving up. It's handing over the pen to the author who writes better stories than you ever could. It's saying, God, I may not understand what you're doing, but I believe you're still good. That kind of faith shakes the gates of hell. That kind of trust invites heaven into your reality. So if your mind is racing, slow it down with truth. Speak it out loud if you have to. Say it again and again until your heart believes it. God is for me. God is with me. I will not fear. These aren't just words, they are weapons. They silence shame. They shut down anxiety. They awaken courage. And if today feels too heavy, remember this: God is not measuring your faith by how calm you appear. He sees your trembling hands, your weary spirit, your silent prayers in the middle of the night, and He honors those. Faith doesn't always look like bold declarations. Sometimes it's just whispering Jesus when you don't know what else to say. He hears you even in your weakest moment, especially in your weakest moment. That's where His strength shows up most clearly. That's where grace rushes in. So don't be afraid of your limits. Don't be ashamed of your humanity. God meets you there. Not when you've figured it all out, but when you finally admit you can't. And when you do, something beautiful happens. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to begin with. You stop picking up weights that God never asked you to carry. You start living lighter, freer, more open to joy, more aware of His presence, more anchored in truth. Worry wants to convince you that you're alone in the fight, but faith reminds you that you're not. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, every anxious thought, you were never unseen. Heaven leaned in, angels surrounded you, and God, in His perfect mercy, stayed close. So instead of bracing for the worst, begin expecting the goodness of God to show up. Not because you earned it, not because you're perfect, but because that's who He is. A Father who delights in giving peace. A shepherd who leads you beside still waters. A Redeemer who turns broken pieces into beauty. And even if your situation doesn't change today, you can change. Your posture, your perspective, your pace. You can walk slower, breathe deeper, trust more. Because when peace lives inside of you, the storms outside of you lose their power. And maybe that's what this moment is about. Not fixing everything, but letting God fix you. Heal the places no one else sees. Speak life into the weary parts. Restore joy where worry drained it. Breathe peace into the cracks. Let this become your rhythm. Not just a moment of prayer, but a lifestyle of trust. A daily return to the source of all strength, a constant turning of your heart toward heaven. Even when your feet are walking through difficulty, you weren't made to carry every burden. You were made to rest in the arms of the one who carries you. When you choose to trust God, you are not ignoring your pain. You are reassigning its weight. You are choosing not to let it crush you, but to let it carry you closer to Him. Trust is not denial, it's direction. It turns your eyes away from what you cannot control and sets them on the one who never fails. Some days it will be easy to believe. Other days it will take everything in you just to whisper, "I still trust you." Both are faith, both are worship, both move the heart of God. So when anxiety tries to creep back in, don't fight it with more worry, fight it with presence. Return to the quiet. Remember the moments where God proved Himself faithful. Recall how far He's brought you. Reflect on what He's already done. Gratitude has a way of clearing the fog. It reminds your soul that even now, even here, God is still working. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. God's timing is not like yours, and that's a good thing. His pace is perfect. His process is precise, and His promises are sure. You don't have to panic. You don't have to rush. You don't have to figure everything out today. You just have to take the next step in faith. And sometimes that step is resting. Sometimes it's choosing peace even when you don't see progress. Sometimes it's worshiping while you wait. Because when you wait on God, you're not wasting time, you're being strengthened, refined, prepared for what's coming. Don't underestimate what God is doing in the silence. Just because it feels quiet doesn't mean He's absent. Some of the deepest miracles begin in unseen places. Some of the greatest breakthroughs are preceded by seasons of stillness. He is working behind the scenes, weaving redemption into the very threads of your story. So keep your heart open, keep showing up, keep praying, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. That's when faith becomes real, not when you see the evidence, but when you choose to believe anyway. Not because it all makes sense, but because He is always good. And when the voices of fear try to drown out truth, remember, peace isn't passive. It's a shield. It's a stand. It's the fierce declaration that no matter what today brings, your heart is anchored in eternity. Your soul is guarded by grace. Your story is held in holy hands. You are not weak for needing peace. You are wise for seeking it. You are not fragile for breaking sometimes. You are faithful for bringing the broken pieces to God. You are not failing. You are growing, learning, trusting, becoming, and there is glory in that. So today, as you breathe deeply and move forward, may you do so with confidence, not in yourself, but in the one who carries you, the one who knows your tomorrow, the one who still parts seas, who still calms storms, who still makes a way. If this moment has spoken to your heart, let it stay with you. Let it be a seed planted in faith. Water it with prayer. Nourish it with God's word, and share it with someone who may need it. Because peace multiplies when it's passed on. Hope becomes contagious when it's expressed out loud. And if your soul found rest here, come back. Let this be a space you return to, not because you're weak, but because you know where your strength is found. Let this voice remind you again and again of what your heart already knows. God is with you, He is for you, and He is enough. You don't have to carry tomorrow today. You don't have to fix everything to be faithful. You just have to keep surrendering, one breath at a time, one prayer at a time, and let God meet you there, in the quiet, in the chaos, in the everyday moments where peace is possible. And if this brought light to your morning, consider subscribing or sharing it with someone who needs this peace too. You never know how God might use a simple word of hope to change someone's entire day. Let's keep building this space of faith together, one prayer, one heart, one day at a time.